Okay, very huge disclaimer. The date, December 9th, is not official, but I know I do go to, I know I do say throughout this podcast that December 9th is when it's supposed to be, but that's not an official date. I've not heard an official date from the Dreamville camp or J. Cole or the Edward person, but that's the rumored around date. Just want to put a disclaimer out there now so that when the 9th happens and if it doesn't drop, no one gets mad. I just wanted to put that out there ahead of time. So, let's talk about the J. Cole. Let's talk about J. Cole's Fallout, right? So, the Fallout is supposed to be an album where we kind of get a true J. Cole, right? So, we're gonna talk about how we're gonna get a true J. Cole. So, the Fallout, I think overall, with the Lion with the Lion King on Ice, I think you get a subtle J. Cole, as in he's talking about issues that affect people, which I think is gonna be on the Fallout, but it was on Revenge of the Dreamers 3, which I would recommend if you haven't heard it to go check out. So I would recommend you go look at that. But Lion King on Ice, I think that song is more of him looking at a thing of issues and kind of realizing that right now is a very tough place for people right now. While also on the climb back, you hear him kind of trying to explain to other people that they don't see they don't understand other people's reality, which is fine because he says on 1985 when he's speaking to the younger generation about stuff, and that was the Lewis Street one, but I'm talking about the KOD or Kids on Drugs, and I think that album, right from Photograph to Friends to the intro to the ending, the song is good. It's thick. It's meaning. There's no skips for me. They're all good songs. But as I said in the intro, we're waiting for the fall off, right? The fall off, which is rumored to drop on the 9th. I'm not sure if it will. Maybe we get it in later December. Okay. But the 1985, he's saying, well, he said in one statement, he was saying that, he said that go buy him a home and stop spending money on luxury stuff. And you can spend money on luxury stuff, but don't spend it all on luxury stuff. And you can kind of see an evolved J. Cole from when it was a young Simba, when he was buying chains, buying cars and stuff like that. You can see the change, right? But also, before we get to 1985, I think you have the young Simba, the return of Simba, right? And those are good songs. But I think Middle Child is the return of, like, the next song of the return of Simba. And if you don't know what I'm saying, J. Cole made 2 songs in the earlier 2000s. One being Young Simba, and being Return of Simba, where you see his growth. But I think Middle Child was where you saw the growth. You saw him kind of saying he's not Pac, Biggie, Jay-Z, but he's not like Wade. He's not like Fabio. He's not like NBA Youngboy. He's not like Bryson Tiller. He's that middle generation, like Rose, Kendrick, Drake. He's more of, I'm in the middle of both generations, so I got of kind of a leader. He's a leader in both generations. So they see Hove as they see Hov as an influencer for the older generation. So J. Cole had to fill Hov's shoes for the next generation and generation under him, which he's done well so far. Now, musically, it depends on what, we'll get into that on we'll get to another part where we talk about how him and No Name got into that conversation and they started beefing about, her saying that your favorite artists don't say much about it, which I can understand J. Cole saying it's coming from him. But we'll talk about that when we talk about this J. Cole. So, let's talk about the J. Cole that we think is going to be on the fall off. So, we are in 1985, which is a kind of a diss track, but a subtle one at that, which J. Cole is known for doing. J. Cole is known for doing subtle diss tracks. So, that was no surprise that it was a subtle diss track. Which is, it isn't really a bad thing. On the single album of the year, 1985, when he's talking about, this, that, and that, and he's just speaking about stuff that people go through on a daily basis when he said, like, Section 8 and people, like, For Your Eyes Only, when he was talking about VIM mentality, and how people always gotta work to do this, right? And most hard people working, and he knows VA, but, shout out to VA, I read VA, probably, but, you get stuff like that, and it's just, it's very weird. But 1985, I think you're gonna have like a VIM mentality, a middle child, a few subtle jabs, definitely a few subtle jabs on the fall off. Not like, J. Cole has been getting a lot of slag, hate, depending on how you see it, or just praise, for what's happening in America. And I know most people, if you don't know what I'm talking about, America's very tense right now. So, he's not really saying anything. He's kind of keeping to himself. But J. Cole's an introvert, so we understand that. While he also did say that on Revenge, he did say that he would hate to not work on songs with other people. We can also look for maybe a few features on the fall off, which I understand. The fall off, I think, is either J. Cole's feature album where he put features on it and he just spits his bars, or he goes for another platinum with no features. And that's a J. Cole joke. Some people might get it, some people might not. So I just wanted to explain that ahead of time. J. Cole has done 1440 Drive, KOD, and he has had no features, and he normally goes double platinum with it. While, now, some of his albums don't get as much credit as they should, like Sideline Story, but, you see, I do think J. Cole will bring a different side, a different approach to the story that people don't normally see, which is a great approach, which could be a bad, but I think for J. Cole, it's going to be a great approach. It's going to be like a 24. So what I expect, so what I really do expect from the fall off is another false prophet type of track, which we have in 1985 for that, but I think it's going to be one more. We have another middle child about the whole generational thing and how he feels like he's stuck in the two things of generations. I also do believe, and I cannot neither confirm or deny any of this, I do think, heavily, I enjoy J. Cole, I love his music, huge J. Cole fan here, but I do think the fall off can either have features and be great. By itself, it's going to be great. Now, I trust J. Cole, and all of the work that he does is actually great. I don't doubt J. Cole. He makes good albums, good music. Loved KOD, loved Photoshop, loved Friends, and loved Kevin's Heart. Like, you understand real problems, and I can understand it, and it's great, and it's songs to make you rethink about stuff, which I do enjoy. But I think I think you do get a few songs that will be pro the times and talking about the tension in America right now, which I know some people will not understand, and then he will be probably talking about the shortage and stuff like that, and family roots and stuff like that, and losing people during this time. I think it will be compact stories like that, because I do want to hear, storytelling from J. Cole. Like, it's like an audible, like an audiobook. Like, you want to hear J. Cole's pen work. You want to hear his storytelling. Like we did for Your Eyes Only, and it was written from a friend that died, and it was from his point of view, I believe. Yeah, he was saying if his friend was saying, well, if I died, please, and it was, to J. Cole, it could be like the warm up, which I personally do enjoy. I know a lot of people don't listen to I know a lot of people did not listen to J. Cole's original, like when he was The Therapist or Cousins, or Truly Yours too. But J. Cole doesn't put out bad stuff. He doesn't. There might be 1-2 songs, but J. Cole himself is a great artist. Overall, no features and no features, I think it's going to be great. If he has a subtle jab at a few people, I expect that, like he did in Middle Child. I expect that. Or if he did it in False Prophet or Everyone Dies, I get it when he was saying we're praising people for what they say when they're not even writing it. Like it, like they're not the ones writing it or living it. Like, I dig that. I understand that. That's, to me, that's a subtle jab at ghostwriters, that people that are ghostwriters writing for them. But that's understandable. I know a lot of people aren't into like the music industry like I am, so I will understand that. He also said in 1985, he was saying that people sign 360 deals and that tour money is yours. When you go on tour, that tour money is yours. So keep yourself on tour, because people do some bad deals, bad back deals and stuff like that, which I can truly understand. Because when you sign that check, you think, oh, I get this advance, I get to keep all that money. No, that goes to the video, recording, stuff like that. And I don't think that in this society we were raised that way. Yeah, J. Cole has gone on a tangent, but that's just how good of a rapper is. He'll switch the conversation, so you'll go here to go here to go here to go here to go here, because he's a very diverse artist. He was saying, but if I was so sick, y'all wouldn't treat me as in. But that was before the stuff that happened this year, and I think with another stuff like that, he could bring a few cultures together, which in a hard time we need. I think it also we could have like serious in-depth tracks about his life, past life, stuff like that. Like, I do enjoy that. Like, I do enjoy stuff like that. I think maybe 2 or 3 diss tracks, will subtle jabs at people. I do also think I expect 1 to 3 features on the fall off. Now I haven't. Now anything's never been confirmed or denied. Technically we have a few more days, because I heard one release date was the 9th, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. But and it's all great, because J. Cole puts out good music. He puts out great music all the time. So if we gotta wait another 4 years, I'm down for it. J. Cole is just great. He will always be one of my top 5 favorite rappers. I don't want it to seem like I'm biased, but it's just that he puts music out where you want to listen to where he goes. Where he just goes, I got blood on my hands, but I got big hands and stuff like that, and you understand the flow pattern, but you understand his message behind it. Like got me to state. I gotta keep me in the process, like stuff like that. Or when he goes, if I'm so sick, we talk about Section 8. He said with most people, and he was saying like if this might be just when he was saying if you give most people what, if you let most people do what they do, they hang themselves, as in they're not motivated, they become lazy and stuff like that, which I think he kind of puts, or they stab themselves in the back, is what he was trying to put out there. But I do say, with the the climb back, you understand that he's kind of trying to put himself back on top, make sure that he is, make sure that his fan, make sure that no one feels less of him, or nobody thinks, because there were mixed reviews on KOD, and I think he's saying, well, this is my back to the top, and making sure that I can show you I can still write with this pen, which I expect, because J. Cole is great with a pen, but his penmanship is great, it's not going to fade. I know he was going to move the shoes. I'm not much of a shoe guy myself. Wow, he also said he was moving to the NBA, which I might watch. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but I do imagine wherever he goes, I think, it'll be worth the watch. I did see him during the NBA halftime, and then I did also see him. I seen clips of him dunking, which is impressive. But he also reps North Carolina, which I do. He kind of put North Carolina on the map to a degree. And I do think that, so far, with nothing being listed and we have the climb back, Lion King on the Ice, which I think is probably a subtle jab at a few people. Then we have 1985. I think the other ones are going to be more of him talking about battling stuff, and maybe some Black Power stuff. But I do think overall, J. Cole has a good fall-off album coming out. Don't know when it's coming out once again. The debate is just, the debate on when the album is coming out is fully skeptical. I'm not really sure when. But when he drops it, he said by the end of the year, which, if you look at it, he had like a month left, which it doesn't matter to me, but it's still great. And I really think that'll be something to enjoy. Like, it won't be something where you're just like, that was great, but no, I don't think that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, I have a few more things I want to bring up with everybody. But I hope you enjoyed this kind of open conversation of where you get J. Cole's no role models on the fall off, where he's trying to be the role model for this newer generation of rappers. When he says it in Middle Child, when he says it in 1985, and he's like, well, y'all want me to be the person to show the younger generation how to do it, when it went the same way for me when he was in Rockefeller, which I understand, they had, and Jay handed him the Rockefeller chain, but I think he's saying, well, you want me to do that, and I never said I was this, and I never said I was that. But if I gotta do it, I'll put myself in the spotlight maybe one time to show y'all my penmanship is good, and that I support these people or that people. Now I can't speak on what side he supports or what he does, but you can kind of hear it in his verses. However, I think metaphorically he'll be there. I think bar wise he'll be there. Revenge of the Dreamers 3. If you've seen that little snippet of J. Cole, if you haven't, I'd say go watch the documentary. But if you have, you see that little snippet of him just freestyling. And it's just one of the cleanest freestyles I've seen to date. It's not a lot, but it's just a scheme. But it's one of the best schemes. Yes, I am a huge J. Cole fan. Overall, I think my top 3 favorite rappers. But we'll get into that another day. Well, top 4. But we'll get into that another day. Hope you enjoy this. Kind of like this podcast idea of it. I didn't really know when I was gonna do it. When the Fallout dropped, if it drops on a length like people expect, then I'll make another video about the Fallout in full. But I just wanted to. Yes, I'm still alive. I'm just working on a few things behind the scene. But no, seriously, I just wanted to just have a conversation about J. Cole. That one conversation, I'm gonna have a whole full minute, but I'll definitely see y'all in the next one. I'm sorry, I'll definitely see y'all in the next one.